This is the AUTOPHIX OM129 OBDII code reader. Let's take it out of the box. In the box you get the user's manual. There's a USB cable for updating the tool, which is USB to micro USB. Here is the tool itself, very easy to use with its buttons on there, and the OBDII connector. Now this will do everything that a standard OBDII code reader will do. It can read out your check engine light codes, or MIL as they call it, malfunction indicator lamp. So it can read those codes out and give you an idea of what might be wrong with your car. In addition to all of that, it also has a battery check function. Let's go ahead and take this out to the car and see what it can do. You just have to locate your OBDII connector, usually under the dashboard in the car, and plug in the tool. If you have a push button, do not step on the brake, and typically you will press the button 2 times until everything on the dashboard lights up. And of course, if you have a key, you would just turn that to the run position right before you'd go and actually crank the engine. So here's the main menu. You have OBDII, IM, BAT, lookup, review, and setup. You'll see it's a color screen, and basically you go up, down, left, and right, and enter. We'll go enter there, and now it's going to go ahead and read the car, which it did very, very quickly. And you can see here that it says the malfunction indicator light is off. There are no codes stored. Readiness supported are 7. Readiness complete are 7. Readiness not supported are 4. This will vary from car to car. Data stream supported 52. Ignition is spark. And the protocol type is CAN. When there are multiple ECUs, you'd select the correct one. Usually the first one is it. We can hit read codes, but it says there are no fault codes because this vehicle doesn't have any. Let's go down to IM readiness. Since this drive cycle or DTCs were cleared, diagnostic trouble codes were cleared, we'll choose that. And it tells you that the misfire monitor is okay, fuel system monitor okay, comprehensive component monitor is okay, catalyst monitor okay, heated catalyst monitor is NA, so it's not supported on this particular vehicle, and the list goes on and on. This list is very important to you if you already have a check engine light on in your car and you need to bring your car in for inspection. If that light is on, you're not going to pass. So what you can do is reset it using this tool. In the first part of it that I showed earlier, you'd reset the codes and take the car on a drive for a while and keep checking this IM readiness monitor list until you have all but one system ready, reading okay. And typically, if you get your car in there right then and there, it should be able to pass. It even has a handy IM button that will give you this in a different format here, and obviously it's going to show red, yellow, or green. Everything here is green because there's no trouble with this car, but if there was, it would show yellow like if it's not ready, and red if something had failed. So you can keep checking this just by pressing the IM button right there and get your car in for inspection while you can. If we go to data stream, we can hit view all items, and it's going to read through that here. And now you have pages and pages and pages of information that you can scroll through. Everything is in very large print here, so it's easy to read no matter what. If the vehicle was running, it would show the engine RPM, and of course if I were driving, it would show the speed and the fuel trim, the ignition advance, intake air temperature, oxygen sensor output, time since engine start, so it can actually time how long it's been running. There's all sorts of stuff in here that you can just go page after page after page, which is usually useful for mechanics, but for the average do-it-yourselfer at home, this has a lot of good information you can look at, so at least you'll know what might be wrong with the car before you can bring it in. So that way, if that jives with what your mechanic says, then you can have him or her go ahead and do the work. It can also graph certain items if that's more helpful to you, such as your RPM and your vehicle speed and stuff like that, so you can select a bunch of those. It'll show what they are at the bottom there with the legend with the colors, and then you can see how they graph and move proportionally or improportionally to each other. This car also supports the evap system test. We can hit enter and it says the evaporative system leak test passed. Here's some more interesting information that this tool pulls. OBD monitoring conditions encountered counts, 447. Here's another really interesting one. Ignition cycle counter, 1144 counts. That's very interesting. I didn't know that it actually would log that information. There's information on the catalyst monitor, oxygen sensor monitors, and you'll notice it says conditions encountered counts bank 2, and it says 725 counts and 447 counts. Every vehicle out there is always going to have trouble that the computer is going to detect, but unless it becomes an absolute problem, only then will it turn on your check engine light. Otherwise, these things kind of go unnoticed, if you will, and they just sit there in the computer, and if it keeps seeing a certain problem, then it's going to log the error. So this also has a battery monitor. We'll do that. It says, please turn the ignition off. Current voltage 11.81 volts. Enter start detection. Okay, my ignition is off. Now it says, please turn the ignition on. And when they say that, they mean start the engine. And here it says current voltage 14.03, 0.04 volts. It showed the graph there of what happened when I went to start it. Minimum and then the maximum voltages, stuff like that. Tells you it was 3473 milliseconds. So that's just nice to know that it's there. And then you can go over to lookup. So if we head over there, you can type in a code, such as the P0420 code that many people have, and it'll tell you it means catalyst system efficiency below threshold, bank 1. So that way, if you have the code ready that maybe somebody else had read out for you, well, you can go ahead and type that in and find out what it means. If you would turn the data logging function on, you can then later go to the review section here, and it can show all of that data that it had recorded previously. And under setup, you can change the language, unit of measure, you can turn the beep on and off, etc. So once again, this was the AUTOPHIX OM129 OBDII code reader for cars. If you'd like to purchase this item, I'll leave a link in the video description where you can find it available for sale on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.